Hello students, welcome to maths class. We are learning what Indices chapter. I have learned in your previous lecture. Okay, in the next slide I have shown you something. Just recall from that. Okay. So now we will learn laws of indices. Okay. So the very first law is let us see what is the very first law. So for that, see, if A is a non-zero number and M and N are integers, then so A is what? Non-zero number means any number, but it should not be equal to 0. And M and N are integers, so it can be positive integer as well as negative integer. Then what happens? See, A raised to M multiplied by A raised to N. So here what you can see, A, you know what is base and what is index. Okay, so here what you can see, two same base are multiplied with what? Different index. Okay, so when two same bases are multiplied with the two different index, then what we get as base, see, A raised to M plus N. So M, two index got what? Added M plus N. So A raised to M cross multiplied by A raised to N results into A raised to M plus N. So this is the very first law. Okay, so when you get any number, see, so let us see one example with numbers. See, example, see, 8 raised to 2 multiplied by 8 raised to 4. So now you can see bases are same, but the index are different. See, 2 raised 2 and 4, two different index with same base. So what happens? See, equals to 8 raised to 2 plus 4. 2 plus 4. So 2 plus 4 is how much? 6. So 8 raised to 6. If they ask you to simplify, then you have to just do it till here, 8 raised to 6. If they ask simplify and get the value also, then you know how to get the value of 8 raised to 6. Means 8 will get multiplied how many times? 6 times. Okay. So you know how to get the values. So this was the very first law. Same bases are multiplied with different index, then the result will be same base with the index get added. Okay, 2 plus 4. See, like here, one more example I will show you. See, example, 5 raised to 3 multiplied by 5 raised to 5 equals to what? 5 raised to 3 plus 5, that is 8. 5 raised to 8. So after simplifying, what we get? 5 raised to 8. Okay, so based on the first law there will be sums like this you have to solve. If they ask you to simplify, then this much. If they ask you to get the values, then you have to solve it further. Now let us see what is the second law. See, for all the laws, see, here also same base. Remember that A should not be equal to 0. A should be a non-zero number, and M and N are any integer. It can be positive as well as negative integer. Okay, so A raised to, so see, A raised to M divide by A raised to N equals to what? Now here what you can see, two same bases are divided with two same bases are there. Okay, and two different index are there. So bases are same and index are different. So A raised to M divide by A raised to N. So what we will get? A raised to M minus N. For multiplication, what we get? A raised to M plus N. And for division, we will get A raised to M minus N. So see, A raised to M divided by A raised to N equals to A raised to M minus N. Let us see with numbers. See numbers, 6 raised to 5 divided by 6 raised to 3. Bases are same, but the index are different. See, 5 and 3, two different index. So 6 equals to what? 6 raised to 5 minus 3, which equals to 6 raised to 2. M and N, they have told you that they can be any integer. So we have taken 5, 3, anything. Okay, so when for multiplication, what happens? Index will get added with the same base. Okay, and for division, what will happen? Index will get subtracted if the number have, if it has same base. Okay, so this was your second law. This was your second law. Now see one more example. Minus 9 raised to 6 divide by minus 9 raised to 2. Okay, what was the condition? A should be not equal to, should be a non-zero number. So minus 9, it is non-zero number, so we can take minus 9, or we can take positive as well as negative numbers. Okay, so see, I have taken here negative number as my base and positive number, negative number as my base, and two positive number as my index. Okay, two different index. See, minus 9 raised to 6 divide by minus 9 raised to 2. So what we get? Equals to what? As division is there, with the division is there, so what will happen, you know now? So minus 9 raised to 6 minus 2, what will happen? Minus 9 raised to 4. This is just simplification. If they ask you to get the values also, then what you will do? Then what happens? Minus 9 raised to 4. Further, how to get the values? Minus 9 will be multiplied how many times? 4 times to get the values. Okay, in the in the previous practice set, you know, you have learned how to get the values. Okay, so this was the second law. Now let us see. Okay, now this is something different. See, the meaning of a raised to 0. Now what does this say? A raised to 0. See, if a not equals to 0, means the base should not be equal to 0. In full indices, we have to remember that the base which we are taking should not be equal to what? 0. So here, if a is not equal to 0, then what happens? See, a raised to m divided by a raised to m equals to 1. You know this much things. As you have seen also, if some number is divided by the same number, then answer which we get is equals to 1 only. For example, 5. 5 divided by 5, what we get? What we get our answer? 1. Similarly, in indices also, see, if the same numerator is same with the denominator, the answer will be what? Equals to 1 only. Okay, so a raised to m is divided by a raised to m. Numerator and denominator are exactly same, so answer will be equals to 1. Okay, this you have to remember. Now see what happens with this condition. See, also we know that a raised to m upon a raised to m. Now with the indices law, what we have learned just now. See, in when there is division, what happens? The index will get subtracted. Okay, see, a raised to m minus m. So what will happen? See, a raised to m minus m. So here, that in that case, what happened? Two different bases, two different index were there, but here what happened? See, two same base with the two same index is getting divided. So what will happen? A raised to m minus m, and m minus m is what? 0. So m minus m equals to 0. So a raised to 0. So what happens? See, a raised to m upon a raised to m. Now this one, a raised to m upon a raised to m, a raised to m divide by a raised to m becomes what now? A raised to 0. So now just we will substitute this a raised to 0 in place of this a raised to m divided by a raised to m. So what we get after substituting, what we get, in place of a raised to m divided by a raised to m, we are substituting a raised to 0. So what we get, a raised to 0 equals to 1. So this is your third law. A raised to 0 equals to 1. Okay, means any base raised to 0 will give you answer as 1. Okay, so any base you can take, any base, any number you can take which raised to 0 will give you what answer as 1. So let us see, for example, see, just now I have told you a raised to 0 is what, equals to 1. So 8 raised to 0 will be what, equals to 1. Any number, so for example 20 raised to 0, that will also be equal to 1. Any base raised to 0, any base with the index 0 will result into the number 1. So this was your third law. Okay, now we are moving on further to see next law. Let us see what does this mean. Now the meaning of a raised to minus m. Okay, a raised to minus m, what does this mean? This will lead to another law. See, a raised to minus m. Now what I am doing, see, a raised to minus m equals to, it is similar na, 1 multiplied to the any number will result into that number itself. So a raised to minus m I am taking equals to a raised to minus m multiplied by 1. It is same, left hand side and right hand side, no difference is there. Okay, so now we will look into our right hand side. Okay, so a raised to minus m multiplied by, now 1, just now you have learned that a raised to m divided by a raised to m means what, base, base and index, base and index, the number, same number, numerator, the number which are same in numerator as well as in denominator result into 1. So in place of 1, what we are writing, a raised to m divide by same, a raised to m. So you know that this results into 1 only. So in place of 1, I am writing a raised to m divide by a raised to m. So what happens, see, now what you have, a raised to minus m multiplied by a raised to m divided by a raised to m. So in multiplication, what you have learned, when there is multiplication sign with the index and base, so what happens, the index will get added. Okay, the index will get added, same base different index, what we will do, the index will get added. So a is common, so we are writing a, and index are what, two different index are what, minus m and minus m and m, simply m. So what happens, the index will get added, so minus m plus m. Okay, divide by what, a raised to m. So minus m plus m results into what, minus, minus any number plus that same number results into 0. You know that, for example minus 2 plus 2 results into what, 0. So this a, this minus m plus m results into 0. So a raised to, now this term becomes what, 0. So a raised to 0 upon a raised to m. Okay, now you have learned in the previous law, what you have learned, a raised to 0 is what, a raised to 0 is equal to 1. So in place of a raised to 0, I am writing now 1, because just now we have learnt in a third law that a raised to 0 is equal to 1. So in place of a raised to 0, I am writing 1, and a raised to m we are writing as it is. So this now becomes what, 1 upon a raised to m. So now our right hand side has what, right hand side has 1 upon a raised to m, and our left hand side was having what? A raised to minus m. So here this will continue. Then what we get? A raised to minus m equals to 1 upon a raised to m. So this we get after solving a raised to minus m. So what happens? A raised to minus m equals to 1 upon a raised to m. So this is our fourth law. Means what? If a base have negative index, then what will happen? Equals to what? If a base have negative index, then it will be equal to, it can be written as 1 upon that same base with a positive index. Means if we have to write the base with the positive index, then we just have to invert it. Okay, a with the negative index equals to 1 upon a with the positive index. So if we have to if we want to write the base with the positive index, so what we have to do? We have to invert it. For example, see, you have to see example in numbers. I will show you. See, this was our law. A raised to minus m equals to 1 upon a raised to m, and a can be any number which is not equal to 0. Means a should be a non-zero number, and m can be any positive as well as negative integer. Okay, see, now 8 I am taking as my base. 8 raised to minus 6. Now I want, see, 8 raised to minus 6. Now this 8 raised to minus 6, how I can write this base with the positive integer? Okay, so how to write? See, equals to 8 raised to minus 6 equals to, if I write if I write 1 upon 8 raised to minus 6, this is one and the same thing. So 8 raised to minus 6 is now inverted. See, if it inverted, then what happens? The index becomes positive. Okay, so 8 raised to minus 6 equals to 1 upon 8 raised to positive 6. Why? See, 8 raised to minus 6 divide by nothing means what? 1. So here 1 is in the denominator, and here equals to, now I am inverting it. So equals to, inverting it means 1 which was in nothing means 1 only. Okay, so 1 which was in the denominator, now it goes in the numerator, and 8 raised to minus 6 which is in the numerator, it goes in the denominator. So when the number is getting inverted, that time the index sign changes. So 8 raised to minus 6 becomes 8 raised to plus 6. Okay, here I have not shown you divide by 1. Just I am telling, just I am giving you a hint. Means nothing, no number means what? 1 only. So remember this law. A raised to minus m equals to 1 upon a raised to m. So any number I can give you. For example, 5 raised to minus 8 I can tell you. So this will be equal to what? How to make it as a positive, how to give this number as a positive index? So just we have to write it below 1. So 1 divide by 5 raised to 8. Any number with the negative index. So how to after inverting that number, we will get that number with the positive index. Okay, so this was your fourth law. Now let us see. So that time we are dealing with the same base and different index. Now let us see what is difference, what is something different. Okay, so now here, see, next law, for the next law, what we are observing that now we are taking two different bases. Okay, two different bases are there. For example, see, if a and b are non-zero rational number and m is an integer, then what will happen? See, a and b are non-zero means two different bases we are taking, two different base, and m is an integer and index is same. In previous case what was happening? same base were there and different index were there. Now say now different base are there and with same index. So what will happen? See, in multiplication what will happen? Two different bases. A is different base. Okay, B is different base. So A multiplied by B, both are having same index, common index as M. Okay, so A multiplied by B bracket raised to M. Why bracket? Because M is common index to A and as well as B. So what it will be, what it will result into? See, A multiplied by B bracket close raised to M equals to A raised to M multiplied by B raised to M. Means what? This index, common index, will go to both the base. It will go to A as well as it will be index of B. So how to solve? How this law came into existence? Let us see. Okay, this we have to get. Now let us see, just by taking one example, let us see it is this law is valid or not. See, 2 cross, sorry, 2 multiplied by 3 raised to 4 means two different base is what? 2 and 3. So 2 multiplied by 3 raised to 4. So our A is what? 2, B is 3, and raised to 4 means this 4 is our index. What will happen? You know, any number raised to that raised to for example, you know how to get the values. Okay, how to split the number, how to simplify it. So this 2 multiplied by 3 will be multiplied how many times? 4 times. Why? Because its index is what? 4. It has index what? 4. So this 2 multiplied by 3 will be multiplied how many times? 4 times, as it has the index as 4. So 2 multiplied by 3, I have written in different colors. See, so 2 multiplied by 3 is our whole number. Okay, it is a full number, so it is a full bracket. Okay, so 2 multiplied by 3 I've kept in blue. See, multiplied, that red. So this is one time, multiplied by 2 raised to, sorry, 2 multiplied by 3. This is second time, multiplied by again that bracket, multiplied by again that bracket. So how many times that bracket will come? 1, 2, 3, 4. Why? Because the index is 4. So 2 multiplied by 3 multiplied 2 multiplied by 3 multiplied 2 multiplied by 3 bracket 2 multiplied by 3. So that bracket is coming how many times? 4 times. Now let us see how many times that 2 appears. How many times 2 appears? 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 times 4 times this 2 appears. So I am writing 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2, as 2 appears 4 times. Now 3 3 how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3. How many times? 4 times. So now 2 is coming how many times? 4 times. 3 is also coming as 4 times. So 2 raised to how many times? 4 times, multiplied by 3 raised to 4 times. So as you can observe what happens, see, you can observe that 2 multiplied bracket 2 raised to 3 bracket close, sorry, bracket 2 multiplied by 3 bracket close raised to 4 turns into what? 2 raised to 4 multiplied by 3 raised to 4. You can, as you have observed, the index which was common in the example. See, the index 4 which was common to both the number, so it goes to both the base individually. See, 2 raised to 4 multiplied by 3 raised to 4. So this is our next law. See, two different bases are multiplied with the common index, it will equals to what? That index will be multiplied individually the to that to both the bases. So a cross b, a multiplied by b raised to m equals to a raised to m multiplied by b raised to m. Okay, b raised to m. So this was the next law. Okay, so for multiplication. Now let us see for division. Okay, you have learnt in division also previously. What you have learned, two different two what you have learned, bases were same and index were different. Two different index were there. Now what we will see, same here as two different bases we are taking with the same index. So see what happens. A divided by b means two different base are there, both are having common index as what? M. So a divided by b having the common index as m results into what? A raised to m divided by b raised to m, means that index goes individually to both the bases. See, so let us see how. See, for example, let us see whether this law is valid or not, how it is coming, this m is going individually to both the bases or not. See, 2 divided by 5, two different base we have taken, raised to common index as 3. So what happens? 3 means, you know how this the number in the bracket is to be multiplied how many times? 3 times. Why? The index is what? 3. So 2 divided by 3 multiplied by 2 divided by 3 multiplied by 2 upon 5. Okay, so 2 how many times it is coming? 2. 2 is coming 3 times, so I am writing 2 raised to 3. 5 how many times it came? 5 came 3 times, so 5 raised to 3. So 2 raised to 3, 5 raised to 3. So as you have observed, 3 which was the common index to both the number, so it appears, it goes individually to both the base. So see here, 2 divided by 5 raised to 2 divided by 5 raised to common index 3 results into 2 raised to 3 divided by 5 raised to 3. So this was the next law. Means what? Two different bases, two different bases are divided with the same index, then it will result into, see, a raised to m divided by b raised to m. Okay, so now let us see the next. So this was our next law. Now let us see. Okay, so now what is happening here? See, a raised to m bracket closed raised to n. So here what is happening? A, one base is there and two index are there. Okay, two index are there, but two index are what? In multiplication to index. See, a raised to m bracket close raised to n. So what will happen? It equals to what? A raised to m n. A raised to m n. Okay, see, for example, 5 with numbers. Let us see with numbers so that we can we are more clear. 5 raised to 2. Okay, 5 raised to 2 bracket closed raised to 3. Now how to solve this? See, means what? This, and first you will solve the index which is there outside, that you will take. Okay, so 5 raised to 2 bracket close raised to 3 as our index. So first the index which is outside, that you have to consider. Okay, means 3 the inside thing will be multiplied how many times? 3 times. So 5 raised to 2 is our inside thing, having having the index as 3. So this will be multiplied, the inside thing will be multiplied how many times? 3 times. So 5 raised to 2 multiplied by 5 raised to 2 multiplied by 5 raised to 2. So what we get? See, 5 raised to 2. Now we are considering this 2, first 2. Okay. So 5 raised to 2 multiplied by 5 raised to 2. What happens? See, all same base are there. Okay. And index. So what we can do in multiplication? In multiplication, what happens? Multiplication, the index gets added. So 2 plus 2 plus 2. Why? Because 2 is coming 3 times. 2 plus 2 plus 2. So that we can write as 2. See, 2 plus 2 plus 2 is what? How much? 6 only. So this can be written as 5 raised to 2 into 3. That is what? 5 raised to 6. These things you don't have to solve it. Okay, just you have to remember one thing. 5, just you have to remember what? One thing. See, if the inside thing, okay, is having the index, see, for example, this only, a raised to m bracket close raised to n. So what will happen? It will result into a raised to mn. That much only you have to remember. You don't need to solve this entire thing. This is just an explanation part how that came. Okay, how that law came. See, so what you have to remember, for example, 5 raised to 2 bracket close raised to 3. Just you have to write what? Just you have to write this one. See, 5 raised to 2 cross 2 multiplied by 3. Okay, so this much only you have to remember. When 5 raised to 2 bracket close raised to 3, then what will happen? How you will write? You will write as 5 raised to 2 multiplied by 3. So 2 multiplied by 3 is how much? 6. This is just simplification. If they ask you to get the values also, simplify and get the values, then what you will do? 5 raised to 6, you have to get the value. So 5 raised to 6, what happens then? What we do to get the values? We will multiply 5 how many times? 6 times. So 5 into 5 into 5 into 5, like this you will multiply. You will multiply 6 times to get the values. Okay. Now see one more example I'm showing you. See, if 3 raised to 2 bracket close raised to minus 4, then what happens? Equals to 3 raised to 2. What I have just now told you, you just have to show the multiplication of the index. Okay, you don't need to show the between steps like this. You don't need to show. So this is the next law. Next on the basis of that law which we have learned just now. So on that based on that law, what will happen? This will result into what? 3 raised to 2 multiplied by minus 4, as 2 bracket close minus 4 was there as our question. So it will be, it results into 3 raised to 2 cross 2 multiplied by minus 4. So 2 multiplied by minus 4 is how much? 2 4s are 8. And plus minus is what? Minus. You have learned that. Signs you have learned in your previous lesson how to that plus minus is what, minus is what. You have learned all that things. So okay, so you have to remember that and you have to apply here also. So 2 multiplied by 4 is what? 8. And plus minus is what? Minus. So it gets minus 8. So 3 raised to minus 8. So this was our last law. So all these law you have to remember, and on the based on that law only there will be sums. You have to solve that sums. Okay, so this, okay,